Hello humans, in this video I'll be showing you the difference between this and this. So stick around. First things first, this isn't a video about this control type is better and the other is not. So spoiler alert, it all comes down to personal taste. There is no right or wrong here, just personal taste. And I truly suck at mouse aim control, so don't expect much from my mouse aim example. With that out of the way, let's start to show you the key differences between both methods. With the mouse aim control, you have the round cursor that you can move around freely and your plane will follow it, and whenever you move it, the gun sight will follow it and try to center itself in that same round cursor. So, if you think about it, you are not actually piloting the plane, you are piloting the gun sight. But you'll see why I'm saying this in a second. With the mouse joystick control, the first thing you'll notice is that you have the round joystick limits in the screen to show you the limits, and also to show you the position of your mouse. You also have the mouse joystick dead zone, which is inside the center circle. Inside that circle you can move your mouse without causing the plane to react. I like to have it almost transparent because once you get used to it there is no reason to have it opaque, but unfortunately that's one setting I haven't managed to change or find how to change. If you know where to find it or something about that possibility, please let us know in the comments. So here you can see that with mouse aim, when I move the cursor, the gun sight moves to center itself in the middle of that round mouse cursor. This is better both for attacking planes, but especially for attacking ground targets compared to mouse joystick, because you just have to move the mouse cursor to the target and wait for the gun sight to center itself onto it. While on the other hand, with the mouse joystick input, you operate the plane, not the gun sight. The mouse center position is not where the gun sight is, and you must be aware of where the gun sight is. It also depends on the plane, the offensive armament of the plane and where it is pointing. Different planes and gun types, ammo type, and even the plane speed and angle of attack can make the gun sight be in different positions. This is one of the biggest differences between the two types of mouse input controls, because with mouse joystick you do pilot the plane, the gun sight is just another part of it. Opposite to mouse aim, where you are piloting basically the gun sight. We can watch another example, but this time we're attacking a ground target. Again, with mouse aim you truly just have to point the mouse cursor and wait for the gun sight to center itself onto it. While with the mouse joystick you have to pilot your plane in a way that makes your gun sight align with what you are wanting to destroy. Now on plane control there are differences too, especially on how you turn, on how you look around, and how you roll, for example. With mouse aim input you roll digitally, pressing keys that are not analog. They're either on or off, so if you want to roll right, you either press the D key, for example, or you don't. There's no in between. On or off. While with mouse joystick, you can roll soft and slow, or you can roll somewhere in the middle, you can roll the fastest the plane rolls, it's whatever you want. This will give you a completely different type of flying control, and a lot of players, when they are on an enemy tail, for example, that flies this type of controls, they get frustrated because their movements are all on or off, and the enemy movements are whatever he wants, between 0 and 100% of the intensity of the maneuvering, whether it's a turn, a roll, a pull, etc. The other thing to notice is the difficulty of looking around. With mouse aim it is truly easy to look around even without the free camera key. You can just turn your mouse cursor to the back, up and down, and look around and do all the maneuvering without even almost looking at your plane. You can just stay with the enemy. The mouse joystick input mode will for sure be very difficult in this regard to players that are way used to mouse aim, because you have to have both situational awareness, so you are not always afraid that you are not seeing something, and a lot of getting used to using the free look camera pressing the C key while doing the maneuvering. It takes some time to get used to it, so you can fly without being afraid and not having any problem with using the C key in the middle of a turn, a loop, etc. There is one final thing when it comes to looking around with mouse aim versus with mouse joystick that I hear a lot, regarding you not being able to watch the enemy while you use mouse joystick in the moments that you cannot use the free camera because you are using the control with the mouse and you are changing maneuvers, turning, etc. And that is something that you can achieve by selecting the enemy in realistic battles and using the red arrows in the border of the screen that indicates to you where the enemy is relative to your plane. And this is the trick that will save you while using mouse joystick that people don't understand. We can call it a myth, and yes, it is possible to know where your enemy is relative to you all the time, even without using the free camera pressing C. It just takes a lot of getting used to it, and that is not what most people are willing to. With that, let's wrap up this video with final thoughts about these two different types of controls in War Thunder air battles. Positive points of mouse aim controls. Mouse aim is much easier to get used to, I guess, if you never played a flight simulator before, because if you did, you already have it hardwired in you. But if you never controlled a plane in a game before in any way, I guess it is much easier to go with mouse aim overall. Second, it is easier to look around, move the mouse and be aware of your surroundings while you are flying. Third, it is much easier to aim and have the gun sight exactly where you want it to be. Fourth, also for squadron battles, it is way easier to point a target with the squadron marker, because you can just put the mouse cursor opposite what you are doing and mark the enemy to your squadron. Fifth, I guess it is better if you get motion sickness from your own vehicle that you are controlling. You just don't feel it that much in mouse aim. Positive points of mouse joystick controls. First, it is much more immersive. The camera follows the plane rotations and you can feel every roll, every turn, every upside down near pass. Second, that same feeling makes you do some crazy things with the plane. Third, it makes you feel the weight of the plane, the stability or lack of it, the size of it, and the overall differences between different planes and flight characteristics, because they will surely have very different flights from one another, as opposite to mouse aim, where they can be different, I guess, but they all kind of fly the same. Fourth, you can, for better and for worse, turn more, lose more energy, do some more crazy maneuvering that is not possible with mouse aim. That is why some competitive tryhard players use mouse joystick or even full real controls, the simulator battle controls, in realistic battles. Fifth, it is way closer to playing simulator battles in realistic battles, but in the third person view. Although you can always use the cockpit view, but for that I'll just go to simulator battle and be done with it. The truth here is 99.9% of War Thunder players use mouse aim, and I think IGN have a patent on this type of controls, and it is the way to easily control an aircraft in a game that almost everybody can do. But I really don't understand one thing. Why 99.99999% of every video, every War Thunder YouTuber, every Twitch streamer use mouse aim, when if you play simulator battles, you already got used to using full real controls with mouse joystick, and it is just that more immersive and the experience of playing with mouse joystick input method in the controls, even realistic controls. There is an alternative to mouse aim. It is the same for people who already play simulator battles, and yes, it isn't for everybody, but I'm sure a lot of people would be willing to try it if they saw more people using it. Also, maybe the very competitive guys want to keep it a secret, since using these controls is like a hack, quote unquote, that makes them turn harder and do more. Maybe that is why these controls are so hush-hush. Again, maybe. Still, for people like me who have had real joysticks in the past and that played older flight simulators both with joystick and without joystick, but still even with mouse and keyboard wanting to have some kind of immersive experience, the mouse aim control type just doesn't cut it. This is not about being better or worse than anybody, it's about enjoying the game. So if you like mouse aim and hate mouse joystick, please just use mouse aim and enjoy the game. If you already like mouse joystick and can't stand mouse aim, please use mouse joystick and enjoy the game. If you are curious, why not try both? See what fits you better and what do you prefer. Also, whenever I tried to find a tutorial or video explaining how to use realistic controls with mouse joystick input, I found none for years and years. And that is why I made this video, and the truth is, just enjoy the game. Use whatever controls you like the most, and I hope you enjoy this comparison between this kind of different way to play the same thing. Till the next one, bye bye.